Hi, this is Giancarlo Esposito. Welcome to Budapest Comic Con.
Today, as the black man has moved into every sphere of American life, his music has become the dominant music of all America.
So one of your early Broadway roles was in Maggie Flynn and the Me Nobody Knows plays. Can you tell us a little bit about that time, that era?
Oh, well, that was an era of late 60s when Broadway theater was really thriving, and there were many different musicals and dramatic shows on Broadway. I got a chance to work with Jack Cassidy and Shirley Jones and Maggie Flynn at the Winter Garden Theater, which was a very large theater, and it gave me a chance to hone my craft in front of a large audience every night. And Stephanie Mills was in that show, Irene Cara, Northern J. Calloway, a lot of young stars who went on to be something. But theater was a way for me to cut my teeth, and musical comedy was a way to learn how to relate to an audience, not only in dramatic scenes, but also musically. So it was a great time for me.
How come he couldn't solve a murder in such a small town?
About the bonds that tie us together.
He was willing to go to jail back then for what you believed in.
And the secrets that drive us apart.
Somebody must know.
Somebody must.
She's gonna be a problem, but I can handle her. Better off playing hardball.
Is this what you want?
Gospel Hill.
And you directed one movie, the Gospel Hill. Did that experience to direct a movie change the way that you think about what directors tell the actors as an actor, so it changed you in a way?
Well, yes, it did. You know, Gospel Hill was my first movie. My second was a film called This Is Your Death, which eventually came out as the show, which has got some really good critical acclaim. Josh Duhamel, Famke Janssen, Taylor Kitsch. I had a wonderful cast in that. Danny Glover, Angela Bassett. So becoming a director really did have me look at how you make film overall. I've always been conscious of what lens I'm being shot with, and always ask the director and the director of photography what lens they're using, where they're moving. You know, I watch and ask questions because I'm inquisitive and I'm interested. As an actor, your best friend is the cameraman, because the cameraman and the DP is going to make the lighting right and make you look good and make the angles right. So directing my first film, Gospel Hill, really helped me to have an understanding, a deeper understanding of how you make film, like what you cut from and to. So when you're shooting something, you can think about, oh, I know I'm not going to use this because I'm going to cut from the other shot. It gives you the ability to see the whole picture.
You had the chance to play very famous villains, like in the Breaking Bad or the Mandalorian. And if I know right, you once said there is no real bad villain, just they misunderstood. These characters is fit on that thing what you said, they were misunderstood. In a way, they think they're a good guy.
I think there are many, you know, I take that just from looking around our world. If you believe something, if you believe in communism, you know, that it should still be here, that we should still have the USSR with your whole heart, that's what you believe. And so it's interesting because we're all able to have different belief systems, but does that mean you're not listening to the world outside of just Europe, where country after country wants a certain kind of democracy, still doesn't really know how to deal with democracy really, but knows it doesn't want the other, right? So I have to have compassion for men in certain countries in Europe who believe they should be dictators. The people don't want that. But it doesn't matter in some places because the government does. And so that's villainous to not give the people what they're begging for by saying, I know better than you, is not correct. So I've modeled some of my characters after men like that because I see it going on in the world around me.
Just know that Far Cry is known for its larger-than-life villains. This is a legacy I intend to honor. Before you take up this romantic notion of being a freedom fighter, let me ask you a question. Are you prepared to die for your cause? I was acting. Or was I?
And about dictators, and my last question is, you were in Far Cry, the video game, and played the dictator. Do you consider video games are modern art too, like movies and like books maybe? Because 100 years ago they said the movies is for just the silly people, the theater is the only art thing, but now video games is maybe can art too.
Years ago, you know, I made movies. I went from Broadway to making some television, but then mostly movies. And I was, you know, all the real actors didn't do television, stayed away from it. We just made movies. That's all we wanted to do was make movies. And then television started to change. And the world changed financially like it's changing now. Hollywood changed. Look, when I started, I mean, I think for my early movies, I was getting $250,000, you know, back then. And that all changed. You know, they weren't offering that kind of money ever again. You had to fight for it unless you were a real big name. And so television became more lucrative. You could make a living. And you could practice your craft because you were doing 24, so when TV was at its height, it was 24 episodes per season. Now, you know, Breaking Bad is 12 or 13, Mandalorian was, you know, 10. That number's come down since then, but you imagine 24, you're working for 6, 7, 8 months. You weren't able to do much other film, but it was taboo for a real actor to do a television series. And now, once television started to change and Meryl Streep started to do television and all these major actors, then it became the thing to do, but television also became making mini movies. So it changed a great deal to where it's come today, where we have streaming channels, but I equate Breaking Bad with making a movie every week. I equate Mandalorian with making a movie every week. So the thought form behind it has changed quite a bit. And I, for one, I love the movie business. I love television, but it's a shorter form. So in television, we shoot 6 pages a day. That's a lot. You're racing the clock. So the quality, you know, may suffer. There's not as much attention that can be paid to the details. In film, you're shooting maybe a page a day, maybe a scene, 1 scene. In TV, you're doing 5 scenes. So you can really, you know, the pace and rhythm is different, and you can finesse and paint a different kind of picture, which is what I prefer. It's less pressure. It's less about, you know, turnover of time and money. So, I mean, this year is a great example for me because, you know, in January, this year, there were no major movies being made except for a couple of tentpole movies, i.e. the Russo brothers were going to London to do Avengers. They're going to be there for 2 years. A couple of big films here and there, and everything else was an independent film. And some of them were available, but they weren't paying anywhere near the money that's your fee. So then you have to work under your fee. But it's film. It's going to come out in the theater. And if it doesn't, it's going to come out on Netflix. So I was faced with that because I had just done Electric State, which is now on Netflix, which I believe should have had a feature release. This is a great movie. It should have been seen in theaters all across America. The message is so good. It's so well made. Millie Bobby Brown is great. Chris Pratt is great. But their deal was with Netflix that it would go to Netflix and not go into the theaters. So in January, I got a phone call, said, do you want to have a busy spring? And I said, busy with what? and my agents and managers said, with independent film, one after another, which means not a lot of money, but we have some good scripts asking about your interest. And so from January until today, I have not been home. I have done 7 films, okay? And let me just think in my head here. Most all of them are gonna come out in the theaters, which is for an actor who loves film, that's a dream. Even if it didn't pay me the amount of money that Captain America paid me, which they, you know, that wasn't a great payday either. I mean, on some of these I made more than Captain America, but you gotta weigh it. Like big tentpole movies, a large amount of people see you, and it's connected to a big franchise, which means something to people. So the smaller films people have to find, but it's film, and film lives on forever, and it's a different kind of medium than playing in a small box. It's playing in a big box. And when people have to pay to go see you in a movie theater with Dolby sound and a 70-foot screen, it's a different game. It's game on, and that's what I wanted. So I've been really blessed to have been offered some of these independent films, and we know, because my team is really great. I did a film with Charlie Day called Kill Me, and it's gonna be a festival film, but it'll go to all the festivals in Europe. It'll be probably a big festival movie. That's okay, because people at film festivals will see it. Sundance, Cannes, they'll see this movie. It'll get a feature release, but maybe not a large feature release. But it'll give people the sense and the idea, oh, Giancarlo is back in the movie business. He's not just a television actor. He's not just a bad guy from Breaking Bad. He's a movie star. And perception is everything, especially if the movie's good and it really takes off. I just did John Turturro's film, The Greatest Living Pickpocket. A new director named Noah, who's been around for a little while. That's gonna be a feature release. I did a big, huge Saudi film, which will be a feature release. So all those things make a big difference.